it's Kristinna again. We're back at my vlog. This should be vlog 5. I just vlogged about our 5K that we did. I'm still exhausted. It was actually today. This video just aired a little bit later. So you notice that there's someone else here. This is my friend Heather. She flew in from Colorado just to see, come see me. She's been here, 2 times this year?
Mm-hmm.
So she's been here twice this year, and she came to do the 5K. Shout out to our friend Carrie, who couldn't make it because she wasn't feeling well.
Las Vegas represent.
Yes. So we know you wanted to be here. Your heart was here, so we were missing you. But we're glad that you're taking care of yourself, which is most important. So today, while I have my guest Heather here, what I would like to do is kind of ask her questions from her perspective. As a friend, because I really only know my own perspective as being a cancer survivor. We've been friends since 2008, technically. So 9 years. Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, so she hasn't gotten rid of me for 9 years. What's really weird is that as I'm talking to Heather, I'm imagining our friend Carrie right here just chiming in as we're talking, since the 3 of us have really been together since first year of college in Northern Colorado. When I was in the hospital, I'm kind of working up the courage to call you and to call Carrie. And I did call you first, and and we all know this because we love Carrie, but she's so emotional. I think if you go emotional wise, there's me, and then there's Heather, and then there's Carrie. So I called you, and what was going through your mind during that conversation? Because all I remember is telling you what had happened. And I remember getting off the phone, and I was like, Kevin, I think Heather's crying. I know her. She's, you're really strong on the phone, but I think when we hung up, I was like, Kevin, I think Heather's crying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was worried for sure when I heard from you. It was, excitement, because it had been a couple of days since we saw your post where you're going to the hospital and, super cute with your lipstick. I'm like, I still look great. But we didn't expect that anything was wrong, know? And so then getting the phone call from you, I was super excited at first, like, oh my gosh, tell me about your baby. And then you're like, hold the phone. I have to tell you something more. And then I think, shock registered at first, and I can visualize, I can see exactly where I was and what I was doing, and I couldn't even form the words to tell my husband later when he came in asked why I was bawling like a baby. It seems so unreal, because we're at that point 26, 27. This doesn't happen to people our age. Here we are in this magical world where we just got married and we're having babies and are starting our journey, and this wasn't part of the journey for us. So it was scary, really, really scary. And I think the first thing I wanted to do was hop on a plane and come see you, but neither of us knew what that looked like and when you were going to be ready for us to do that. So I think, we both had to be patient in our
You guys ended up coming out to see me during my last round of chemo. And I know that I was thankfully asleep during the infusion. And I didn't puke or do anything too traumatic. And I know you guys didn't say much. And I remember when you guys left, I took you guys back to the airport, I told Kevin, I was like, I felt like for me, you guys held a lot in because I was still in the process. Can you describe what you personally was feeling when you came to see me in person, since, we talked about how, you wanted to be there for me. And then when you were finally actually there, and got to see the process of me, like, going to get chemo and things like that, like, how did, you feel?
I think it was just very humbling, to come into the environment that you guys had created, and really understand your day-to-day. There's so much that you can understand through pictures and texts and Facebook and stuff like that, but actually living it with you helped me understand things at a deeper level, but also gave me a lot of hope, because you were still you right there in the middle of all of it. And your sense of humor and your joy and your fight was just inspiring beyond measure. And I wasn't sure that I was going to walk into that. I didn't know what you had or whether or not you would be you. I think going into the hospital room was only just a very small portion of that trip
Mhm.
because I learned so much more and experienced so much more, like being with your family
Yeah.
and experiencing, you know, what it's like for you to have to eat and sleep and do things so much differently than
Yeah.
you used to. Um, so I think for me, the little things on the outside were
Yeah.
more powerful than just seeing you in that hospital bed. But I mean, I don't know that I'll ever be able to forget that, just because it was very concrete. Like there it was right there in front of us. It wasn't something that we could escape or make fun jokes out
Mhm.
of or forget about, you know.
Yeah.
It was there, but you were fighting your way through it, even, you know, even at the very end of it.
Yeah. There are many times that I didn't want to pile it up there,
Mhm.
for you guys. Um, because for me, it has to be my everyday reality, but for you guys, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
And a lot of times I don't want it to be that your, everyday reality.
But I think through all of this, the three of us have learned that there's nothing too big or too
Mhm.
small to share.
Yeah.
And that it's important that we do share, because we all three of us tend to keep things to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and then we implode.
And then we get mad at each other. They're like, "Why
Right.
didn't you tell me this?"
Exactly.
And we've gotten mad at Carrie a couple of times, like, "Why didn't you tell us when it was going on?" And we
Or
all,
waited till it was
yeah,
too bad.
and the
We had to
three of
come
us
to
have
her
all done
rescue.
it.
Yeah.
We've all done it. So this time that you've come see me, so I'm, 7, 8 months out of chemo. It's a different place. So I'm not who I used to be before cancer, because it changes you, but at the same time I'm not as sick as the last time
Right.
you came to see me. So I know you're on almost like a 24-hour trip, and you've actually got to go in like 15 minutes, probably even less than that. I haven't been looking at that clock. So what is the difference? Do you feel this time that you've come to see me? I know that you're just here, so it might be harder to process because you're kind of in the middle of it, but
Right. No, I think there's a heck of a lot different. First of all, you're not in that apartment anymore, and
Mhm.
that's a huge,
Yeah.
amazing shift, I think, for everybody, because you're able to take yourself physically out of that environment where you were sick and where you were a
Mhm.
survivor, and you're still a survivor, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And seeing the way that you take charge and interact with, you know, your family. But then I think the biggest shift I've noticed is how you interact with Kevin,
Yeah.
your husband. I don't know that everybody knows who that is, but
Yeah.
you guys are so much quicker to apologize to each
Mhm.
other, and you're so much more affectionate and loving towards each other than I ever saw before.
Mhm.
And I think that's because you guys both realize how precious life is in
Yeah.
every day and every moment,
Yeah.
because it could have been stolen away from you,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think that has been the beauty of this trip, in
Mhm.
seeing how you interact with everybody and seeing the difference,
Yeah.
how much they love you and how much they support you. But it's no longer, because last time it felt like everybody was scared, you know,
Yeah.
all the time, and giving you hugs because it could be the last one. And now
Yeah.
it's not like that, but they still want to hold on for one more second.
I mean, honestly, yesterday, I was so, it was very stressful. It was a stressful day, and there's a lot going on with the 5K that we ran this morning. Well, half ran, half walked. That we did.
Yeah.
Yes. That we ended up doing today. But I mean, I would agree. As a human, I spend a lot of time with my husband. We've been together for 8 years. So sometimes I just want to and I'm sure that he gets irritated with me. He's just not as quick to verbalize it. And so
Mhm.
yesterday we were almost at each other's throats because it's so stressful. But we made sure, as soon as 30 minutes later, we're like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. And then we irritate each other again. I'm like, I'm sorry. And even this morning, I was like, I'm sorry I was a beast. He's like, I'm sorry for what I was yesterday. And it's because, and I agree, those are things that, I was wondering this whole time. I was like, is Heather going to think we argue a lot? Because we were nipping at each other yesterday so much because it was so stressful. And when life gets stressful, sometimes you take it out on the person who, is doing life with you all the time.
Right.
And for me, that's Kevin. I do life with him every day. And so sometimes I know that he'll forgive me. So I just, I kind of take it out on him. So I was wondering this whole time, I was like, is Heather going to go back and say that we argue all the time?
No, because that's life. I mean, you guys, you do life well, and yeah, you're gonna drive each other crazy, and you're gonna have moments where you're like, oh my gosh, everything in the world is making me irritated, and I'm gonna take it out on you because I can.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys can come back and be like, you know what, I love you more than anything in the world, and we're going to do this together, even if we're going to drive each other crazy doing it. I think that's the message that I learned from this weekend. You know, so many of us try to hide the fact that our relationship is on the rocks, or that we're struggling in our marriage. You guys lay it right out there, and then you're like, and we're going to do this no matter what. And that's really empowering, you know, because you have something that you've overcome together, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop overcoming even more.
And I mean, honestly, it sounds weird. I kind of like that we can nip at each other now, because it's different than the way we used to fight. And it's also the fact that we can disagree now, because I mean, you're right. We went through such a period where people were scared to disagree with me, and it could be over something small as to like what we wanted to eat, or where we wanted to go, or things like that. And now it's finally, I feel like it's finally starting to shift. I mean, honestly, everyone has that, you know, on our weak faith days, we have those like, oh my gosh, what if the blood test comes up at, you know, what's going to happen, like in that looming of recurrence of cancer. But at the same time now, I think most of us are more appreciative of the time we get to spend with each other. And also, we're not scared to disagree. And I think, you know, having spent time with my family, my husband's family, who are my family, and my own family, who I grew up with, and my friends this weekend, it was a really big shift as to what life used to look like when I was going through chemo, because everyone was scared. And so I feel like the burden's a little bit off of me, while at the same time I also feel almost happy that people can disagree with me now, because it feels normal. You know, I don't want everyone like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? Because everyone's worried about me not getting that nutrition. But, you know, well, thank you for, you know, obliging. I'll cut out the parts that I don't like from the video. Or like maybe glow up our faces because we look really tired. Well, thanks for coming. We have to actually get you to the airport. Okay. 5 minutes ago. Because it's like, what is it, 3:30? Yeah, we gotta get you to the airport. Okay. But thanks for coming, and I will see you guys next time on my next vlog. Check out my website, teal45.com. Hopefully I'll have hoodies soon. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna find a way to make them cheaper than, you know, because I like nice things, but I don't want to pay a bunch for them. So I'll find a way to make them affordable. Check out teal45.com. And my WordPress. You can subscribe below on my YouTube channel. You'll see the link. Thanks, guys. Bye.